Welcome to the channel where all you gotta do is fix on that bead roller. So I've been bead rolling some Mustang parts and kind of getting used to how it works. The second strut tower, shock tower filler, and I'm using the handle and it's kind of terrible. So in my last video I mentioned that I tried a motor and it didn't work very good. Here's the fail. Alright, so not done yet, but I whittled up this little piece of adapter here to go in this 1/2-inch chuck on this, I don't know what speed this is, 120 RPM or something like that, Milwaukee core drill. And the way I have this hooked up is, of course, I have an extension cord, because why wouldn't I? And then I got this, usually use this on my die grinder, but it's good to 15 amps, according to that. And then I got it going to this foot pedal, which is good for 7 amps. And this thing's 7.5 amps, so that's kind of close. So that's all like daisy chained together. Extension cord, speed controller, foot pedal. Got this zip tied. So if I push this little button down here, that does it spinning. Now this thing is just hanging, right? I gotta put something, you know, torque reaction doodad on that. Pretty slow. So anyway, the more torque it has on it, the slower it'll go, because, you know, that's how motors work. And I'm not going to say it's going to work, but I think... And then I suggested a steering wheel. So, I bought one. It's like 25 bucks or something. eBay special. Very Chinesium looking. So basically I got a really deep dish version, so it'll move it closer to where I'm steering the part over here. And then I went down in the wine cellar and I got a hunk of 1/4 inch, which is probably overkill, but it's what was in the scrap bin. So this is just a drop off from drilling a hole in 1/4 inch plate. So, and then I have to put this bolt pattern in there, which is 70 millimeters. So I'll take this guy over to my milling machine and fixture it poorly, probably. And I'll put a bolt circle on there and drill a hole in the middle of it. And this is part of the piece I made. This fits the shaft where the handle on the bead roller is. It's a little bit loose, but it was just a piece of bar stock I had laying around. And the wrong length set screws that I had laying around. I guess I could shorten them, but whatever. So anyway, I'm gonna drill a hole in that, put that like that, put a couple of sparks on it, and then we'll go try it out. What could go wrong? Alright, so I got this thing whittled up. I still need to, I probably should face that and put a nice chamfer on it before I weld it, but it's a snug press fit, so I'm going to take it down to the shed and see if I'm happy with the locations and stuff. Before I do that, I just want to show you to beware. So I bought this steering wheel on whatever, eBay, and it says something about racing, high performance racing parts. Yeah. Ignore that. So this is the little cover that goes on there. And these are the little bolts that came with it. And the way this goes together, the bolt clamps through the little plastic doodad. So you can tighten these bolts up and they're just going to loosen. This is what you steer your car with. Like, you can't put a bolt through a hunk of plastic that's a critical joint. the proper way to put a steering wheel on is to put a proper bolt through a piece of metal to another piece of metal, and then that's clamped. Now the larger the distance there, the better. That's, you know, that's your, it's called grip length. And then the way bolts work is when you tighten them up, they stretch and they act like a really, really stiff spring. But they can't act like a stiff spring when they got a piece of plastic in between. Because first of all, plastic isn't stiff. And second of all, plastic creeps, which means basically if you put a lot of load on it, it just goes in time, it just moves out of the way. So, and then the other problem with plastic is it has a higher coefficient of thermal expansion. So if this gets sitting in your car and gets hot, it's going to try to expand. But the super stiff bolt is just going to like say, I'm not moving, you move. And then it'll creep. And then the bolt is still in the same spot, but now it's not tight anymore because the plastic shrunk. And so it's all loose. So it's like, this is a huge safety issue. Now, maybe they have somewhere in their ad that says this is for, you know, golf cart or video game, you know, simulator or whatever. I don't know. But it says racing part on the bag, or on the box. And somebody's gonna bolt this to their race car because it looks cool. Look at that. It's like, no. Anyway, I'm putting in a bead roller, so not much bad can happen. But be aware, people sell this stuff. Okay, so I got that guy welded up. Still moisty. And I do want to elaborate on, I did weld this without my sweatshirt or my fancy welding jacket to protect me from ultraviolet. But I knew I was only going to be welding for 30 seconds, so, and it's like 85 degrees here today, so. It's only 78 here in the shop, but it's warm for here. Anyway, don't do that. If you're going to be welding more than 30 seconds, wear something to cover your neck and hands and arms and everything else that's sticking out. Alright, I think we're ready to do some golf cart driving. Okay, so here it is. A magical piece of engineering. Not so magical. Probably stronger than it needs to be. So that goes on right there. This whole thing is metric, so I made the bolts on this metric as well. Put it where you want it, and then if you have a piece that's your bead rolling kind of through on an angle, you flip this around the other way. That's I don't know if you can see that, how crooked that is. The part I machined up is very straight. I probably could put an indicator on there. It's probably less than 10 thousandths since I welded it. And this guy is pretty crooked. Okay, so I'm fixing to get ready to bend that guy, and this is the cheesy press brake I keep referring to.